everybody, today we're going to talk about the sexism inherent in our understanding of male sexual dysfunction. We're developing a better understanding of sexism with regards to sexuality in women, but we're still doing a really poor job with guys. So let's talk about that. I'm going to discuss 3 common sexual dysfunctions and how there's sexism inherent in that. First of all, erectile dysfunction. Erectile dysfunction affects lots of guys, up to 40% of men across the board, but it affects people more as they age, but there are so many variables that play into erectile dysfunction. We'll talk about that disorder in and of itself in another video. So erectile dysfunction is a disorder of arousal, meaning that erection is the arousal, it's the effect of the arousal of a man, of a penis. So erection means blood flow to the penis, and that's arousal. So in a woman, arousal is blood flow to the genitals as well, and it's also lubrication in her vagina. So everybody demonstrates this kind of sexual arousal in their own way, and for men, it's via their erection. Now, here's the thing. When women have an arousal disorder, meaning they're not lubricating or there's not swelling to their genitals, there's not blood flow to their genitals, what do women do? If they want to still have sex, they get lubrication, and chances are they're still able to have sex even with an arousal disorder. Okay? But if a man has an arousal disorder, that's a whole different thing. If a man has an arousal disorder, he's not getting erect. And even if he wants to have sex, often there's very little, if anything, he can do about it. He can't run to the store and get an over-the-counter medicine that's going to give him an erection, and then suddenly he'll be able to have sex. So if a man has an erectile dysfunction, which is an arousal disorder, he's out of luck. And what do we say to men in these situations? We say, oh, they're so focused on their penis. Well, of course they're focused on their penis, because for a guy, his arousal is necessary in order to have intercourse. But for a woman, her arousal is not. Okay, so that's, in that way, there's sexism inherent in our understanding of erectile dysfunction. Now let's talk about premature ejaculation. So premature ejaculation affects maybe about 25% of guys, so that's pretty common. And that means that within, let's say, 1 to 3 minutes of entering his partner, he has an orgasm. Premature ejaculation. Now, if a woman has a quick orgasm, we don't call it premature orgasm in her. In fact, if a woman has a fast orgasm, we're likely to say, wow, you know, she's so sexual, that's so cool. We applaud that in a female. But in a man, what do we say if his orgasm happens fast? We say, he doesn't care about his partner's pleasure. We say he's narcissistic. We say he's just so out of touch with his body that he can't tell when he's having an orgasm. All these negative things, right? But we don't lay that kind of burden on a woman at all. So in that way, there's sexism inherent in our understanding of PE for men. And finally, let's talk about delayed ejaculation. So delayed ejaculation means that his orgasm isn't happening, okay? He's erect, but he's not having an orgasm. And this can happen between maybe 5 and 10% of guys. These statistics are variable because it really depends on the researcher, their subject population, how they define these disorders, whatever. But let's say 5 to 10% of men struggle with delayed ejaculation. And so what do we say about that with men? Well, you know, he's probably watching too much porn, he's masturbating too much, whatever. We pick on men for delayed ejaculation. What if a woman has a delayed orgasm? Well, we've come to a much better understanding of the fact that orgasm for women can be complicated for a variety of reasons. Oftentimes, people will kind of make space for that it's more challenging in general for a woman to have an orgasm than a man. Now, that's not perfect, of course. Women still get grief for challenges with orgasm, but nonetheless, we're certainly more apt to give a man grief about that, about not having an orgasm, than we are for women. So as you can see, there's a lot of sexism inherent in these concepts. And what does that do? That leaves men feeling ashamed, self-conscious. It feeds performance anxiety, which means that they're more anxious and their tendency is then to have more kinds of challenges in the bedroom. It's not good for anybody. And men who have these kinds of issues and anxiety around it are more likely then to masturbate rather than to have intercourse. They're likely to watch more porn as a result because it's masturbating isn't going to result in him getting a negative evaluation from a partner. So it doesn't serve him for us to lay this on guys, and it doesn't serve his partner either when we misunderstand a man's sexuality. So this is all super important. And here's the thing, like the bottom line, in my opinion at this point, is sex tech. We're coming back to sex tech again, because sex tech is getting so advanced and so powerful that sex tech already can offer men a level of intensity of a sexual experience that most maybe human females or human partners can't provide. So we're now sort of entering an era where we're competing with sex tech for our partner's attention. That's a reality. That's not just a spin. That's a truth now. So if men feel unaccepted about their sexual issues with a human partner, they're just going to be more likely to go to tech. That's not what we want. We want to maintain human connection. It's healthy for people. People get so much out of it. So it's important for all of us to become better partners, more compassionate partners in the bedroom, so we can maintain the benefits of intimacy as well as the benefits of tech. So, hope that's helpful.